But baby, we gotta get all, you know, I'm still recovering from my mental breakdown. We gotta get all the things off of my heart. And honey, we starting to get them off in real time. Scott Anthony Percy. Y'all remember the trans man, the strongest trans man in the world who I did the video on? Video in the description. Link in the description. Honey, check out the video. Well, I wakes up this afternoon. Yes, this afternoon. And this is what I see at the top of my timeline on Facebook. Mind you, I don't even scroll Facebook. This is what I see on the top of my timeline. My life is better with you in it. A short time with you, but feels like years. Thankful you came into my life and couldn't be any happier. And then the Scott with this butch queen. Child. A whole motherfucking fool. Now, keep in mind, I was just talking about how Scott had came into my life and me and Scott was seeing what was going to go on. So, of course, I responded to the post. Everybody else, congratulations, happy for you, all that. Bitch, congratulations, my ass, honey, it's time to be honest. Wait, but wasn't we just on a date? Didn't you just break up with your ex? Now you in a whole best wishes, honey. Eating my popcorn, bitch. Child, honey. Scott done known this child for a month and already this is the biggest love of his life. Honey. Let me tell y'all a secret about Scott. The reason me and Scott didn't work out was because, for one, Scott got anger issues. And Scott had started to show very abusive tendencies very early on. And us dating. I wasn't settling for that. Honey, no. Because, honey, I don't care if you the strongest ape in the jungle. Baby, I got something that'll put you down. And what we not going to do is we not going to play for dominance over here, honey. If you want to dominate the puss, then you have to earn it. What Jill Scott said, if you could tell me what to do, then you could tell me what to do. But what you're not going to do is you're not going to threaten me with attitude and strength. Now, keep in mind, Scott done found love. Scott is so ready for love automatically. Huh? But Scott ain't been ready for love since I done known Scott. Honey, baby Jesus. Scott done been, since me and Scott dated 2018, 2019. Scott done been in love with everybody he done dated since before I met him in about 2016. So what? By the past 10 years, Scott done been ready for love and in love with everybody he dated, but yet ain't none of it done lasted more than 3 months. If you know anything about psychology, then you know that 90-day grace period that you got at your job is based on psychology. It's based on your ability to maintain emotional stability. Scott says that this child, because honey, we done got into it. I can't give y'all all the receipts because honey, Scott then blocks me and then erased, the receipts out of the chat. Cause I was right. Because everything that I said that I was right. If nothing that I said was right, and if I was just being a jealous, hating ass bitch, honey, Scott and his butch queen that nobody want ass boyfriend would have kikied at me in their little Facebook post about our relationship. However, Bre Starr knows a few things, and reading people is one of those things. Me and Scott was still supposed to be talking. Honey, y'all, yes, while he's building this relationship with this butch queen, me and Scott was still supposed to be talking, still supposed to considering the possibility. Honey, the other people that I'm talking to is aware of Scott because they thought that it was possible that me and Scott was supposed to be rekindling when Scott got back from his trip in Guadalajara. Yeah, Scott taking trips all around the world doing powerlifting and shit on his steroids. You ain't heard that from me that he on steroids, even though he is. But Scott is doing his trips powerlifting on his steroids and shit. Honey. Damn, honey, we didn't clock Scott's steroid tea. I guess you can be a power lifter and be on steroids. I guess it only count for baseball players and shit if you're a professional athlete. But I thought he was a professional strongman. He told me that it don't matter. Everybody takes adrenaline. I mean testosterone. I mean steroids. Scott on testosterone and steroids, honey, to be the strongest trans man in the world. But anyway, honey, all of a sudden, me and Scott was just on a date last month. All of a sudden, within the past month, and it's been less than a month since we was talking about Lincoln and at minimum him doing the interview. But in the past month, Scott done fell in love with this butch queen. Now, keep in mind that Scott not even supposed to like men like that. Scott is supposed to be one of them who will have sex with the man, honey, will get slaved by the man, but relationship ain't calling for the man. But now, all of a sudden, Scott done met a doctor, neurosurgeon. Scott claimed he is 50-year-old neurosurgeon, butch queen on the right. Scott claimed that the child's a neurosurgeon. You see them with their red seatbelts on and stuff. Now, all of a sudden, the child is a neurosurgeon. It drives a $150,000 car. And all of a sudden, Scott like butch queens and in love and genuinely in love and truly in love. Truly, genuinely. If Scott is genuinely, honey, I hope this works out for Scott. I hope this works out for Scott. But for the butch queen neurosurgeon, if your own neuros is synapting, you would know that Scott ain't it, bitch. I was going through a mental breakdown when me and Scott was dating, and I knew that Scott wasn't it. Bitch, I done been dating Scott before. And I knew that Scott wasn't it, honey. Because Scott don't know how to take his motherfucking time. You done been dating this child. You supposed to be a neurosurgeon. Now I'm talking to you, neurosurgeon. You supposed to be a neurosurgeon and you done been dating somebody for a month and all of a sudden it's a real relationship and you 50 years old and you ain't smart enough or wise enough or old enough to realize that, baby, that ain't what happened. Mind you, when he was dating somebody a month ago who he's been in love with for years. And that wasn't resolved. But all of a sudden, you the butch queen with the $150,000 child. The butch queen with the $150,000 car probably is what Scott is looking for. Because when Scott realized that I wasn't going to take care of his brown ass, his Southeast Asian ass, then he knew that it was time to either get your shit together or keep going. Scott decided to keep going, honey. Baby. Yeah, Scott Anthony Percy. This is a warning. This is a warning to all who run across Scott. If Scott don't give you at least 3 months to fall in love with him genuinely, honestly, truly, he is not ready. And yes, we is exposing Scott because fuck Scott. Scott is not only my trans brother, not only my trans brother of color, but Scott was supposed to be aware. I had made Scott extremely aware of my circumstances when he decided to re-enter my life and try and date me. And instead of Scott being able to move outside of impulse, instead of Scott being able to be a friend, instead of Scott being able to be a real brother in community, Scott couldn't look outside of his own selfish desires for his need to validate himself and be validated by others, which is why he's currently dealing with this neurosurgeon child that he keeps bragging about. All this child's degrees and accolades and my man. Baby, you can't tell us shit about your man other than the fact that he is 4,100 and girl, child, Scott, bye. Baby, honey, Scott, baby, I genuinely, I'm putting this out in the universe because I genuinely hope that I'm over you. Honey, I've been giving you chance after motherfucking chance. Honey. Just because you is a transgender man. I know you've been only getting these chances because you're a transgender man. Had the cisgender man treated me like Scott treated me, honey, he'd probably be 6 feet. Probably be 6 feet with a shovel, no tombstone. Scott is trash. Honey, all the trans people that done dated him, all the cis people that done dated him, know that he is trash. All his friends know that he is trash. Shout out to Alyssa, Scott's best friend, the cracker gal. You a trash ass bitch too, honey. You want to delete comments and shit on Facebook too? Yeah, of course you want to delete comments. Talk about I ain't been relevant since 2019, and Scott been hanging on my nutsack since Scott first saw the Puss. Baby, Alyssa, sit your cracker white devil ass down in the corner somewhere, bitch. Honey, nobody sent for you. Nobody was talking for you. Nobody asked you to enter the conversation. When I first told y'all about Scott being abusive, y'all wasn't aware. So what the hell makes you think that you know who Scott is and what Scott do and all that? Bitch. If you was a real friend, Alyssa, you would be letting your friend be aware of his unhealthy romantic and dating behaviors, and you wouldn't be condoning that shit. But then again, Alyssa, you the type of bitch that do the same shit and be wondering why shit don't go right. Be wondering why shit don't go right. Be wondering why that same boy don't want your ass that you've been knowing since 1996. Crackers need to stay out of colored people business. How many times we gotta tell y'all that? That means stay out of our relationships too, bitch. Honey. Because them Neanderthal genes that y'all got that's working in that brain, the math ain't mathing. Honey. Now, me and Scott is both crazy. Now, but we not white people crazy. So you stay your crazy white people ass up out of it. You hear me? These some receipts. Y'all know I'm a Virgo. Honey, y'all know we come with receipts. These the receipts of Scott being on his bullshit. Honey, yeah, these is our messages. Pause to read. Slow down the feed to read. Honey, you can read the messages. You know I'm always going to come with a receipt. Honey, this is just the receipts. I mean, I ain't got nothing to hide. Honey, Scott wanted to show a few text messenger receipts earlier. You know, for his 50-year-old Butch Queen boyfriend to see him. So since Scott want to add some receipts, because Scott's a Virgo too. It's a hot ass mess. Since Scott want to add some receipts, you know, Bre going to air them all. Everybody draw your conclusion. Long story short, Scott is crazy.